Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. We're excited. Friday. We made it. We made it, y'all. It's Friday. We got a fun one for you today. I know our intro video is usually Top Shot related, and part of me was like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do a Top Shot intro video. But honestly, I think we're going to lean into the unintentional comedy about doing a Top Shot video and then talking about Sooooooo for an hour. So let's get into it.
Well, the Top Shot streets are a dangerous place, so you better tune in to a credible face like this one. Yeah, this one. And you know he's not alone, and they're coming in hot. We got a Lake So Stan and a guy who really likes baseball. I don't know why he likes baseball.
All right, there's a part of me deep down that hopes some people are here for the first time and they're like, these guys have a 90-second intro video. What the hell is going on? Yeah, we do. Quantity over quality. We've been saying that for a long time. Good to see everyone here this morning. I'm excited to talk some Sooooooo. I'm excited we have a guest on Friday. As we get to the end of the week, it's important to have a guest so I don't talk just the whole time. But just to set the table a little bit, look at the show notes, join the Discord, do all of those things, like the stream, subscribe, all the things that make me feel good inside because we seek that validation. And just a reminder, we have one other show that we're doing today. It's the second time I think we've done it. We're doing a live before lock Sooooooo show. So at 5:30, we'll be back and we're just going to take in some of the NBA news as it's coming in and then try to get those lineups in using all the information that we got. And if you're new to Sooooooo, there's a link in the show notes. Also pin it in the chat. You can sign up. But enough of that garbage. Let's bring on a special guest. I'm excited for our guest today. His name's John Nellis, who has been in the Sooooooo streets for a long time. We talk about it as it's new, but it's not new. It's not new. So in the show notes, you can find John's Twitter, his TikTok, his social security number. Actually, it's probably not a social security number. That's a US thing. But anyways, let's get John in here. John, what's going on, man?
Gang, what is happening? Thanks for having me. I didn't know what to expect. I just kind of said, yeah, Mike, let's do it.
Yeah.
Didn't really go digging into Team Hold, and that intro video has got me like pumped.
Yeah.
I'm like ready to go.
Yeah, nice little sniff of cocaine to get the day started.
Yeah.
We're really cool. A guy in our community, his name's Rock Andrew Roll. He's made all of our music for all of our drops and put that together, and he's the GOAT. It's fun having something like that,
Yeah, no, that's really fun. I'm like, I need to up my intro game significantly. But, no, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for being down for it. We've been, it's funny. We've been a lot of our communities come from the Top Shot world, and I don't know how deep into the NFT streets we've gotten, but the sports NFT streets, we've dabbled in the Top Shot world. And so when Sooooooo announced NBA, a lot of us started not moving over there, but just dabbling in it. And it's funny because a lot of us act like, oh man, look at this brand new product that's been getting started, and it's like, no, it's been around. It's been around for a little bit, and I know you've been making some really great content around it. That you've been my intro into a lot of this stuff. And I've just been kind of curious, what was your introduction to Sooooooo, and kind of take me through your journey into this a little bit.
So I used to be involved in the UK. There used to be a platform that was called Football Index. It was kind of like a sports gambling platform, but it was along the same lines in terms of the endorphin hits we get from Sooooooo, in that You can prospect on players' future careers. You can buy
Mm.
players when they're out of form, wait for them to come into form to flip them. You can just buy the best, and every single week they can win you rewards. That was a gambling platform ran on a flawed Ponzi system that inevitably went tits up, and people lost over 100 million. It was actually like theft. Big dramatic story. If you're into sports gambling, whatever else, look up Football Index if you want to
Yeah.
cry a little bit. A lot of people got very burnt, but during that process, I met a lot of great people because it had its own community. And a couple of them convinced me that Sooooooo was amazing and I needed to give it a go. And
Yeah.
thankfully they did, because it made me, I kind of looked at Sooooooo and that place, Football Index, wasn't doing great. And I shifted a lot of capital over the course of maybe 3 months, 6 months, not that long, maybe 3 months. And it saved me a bit because like the Football Index stuff just like, I mean, fell through the floor. People lost everything.
Yeah.
So it kind of Sooooooo saved me to an extent.
Yeah.
But I think gave me that very skeptical eye looking at this, and always questioning and always trying to look for the red flags, because I've seen them on platforms before. And quite often we get into these echo chambers of hope and of
Right.
bullishness. So I think having like a healthy skepticism is really important in projects like this. But
Yeah.
that's how I got in. A few guys convinced me it was really good, really fun, good fantasy. The ownership, I didn't know, I wasn't a crypto guy, I wasn't into NFTs.
Yeah.
So it was my kind of first furor into Web 2.5, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess I had a similar experience too, where I this was like the Top Shot side of things. This was my first venture into NFTs, and I was the same way, where I'm like, I get basketball and I get the idea of almost this being like a sports stock market, if you will, right? And I'm like, this player is underperforming, but I know he's going to be good. Let's put some money into him. Let's make lineups, stuff like that. But the same thing where like I'm a very watchful, skeptical eye, maybe to a fault too, where it's probably like slowed down some opportunities, but would rather be on that side of things than to be like, let's go. Like not only me personally going all in, but telling other people like, yeah, this is it, baby. Because it is a little terrifying.
I think it's imperative from like a content standpoint as well, for your integrity and for you to be able to sleep at night, that you're not just openly bullish for the sake of being bullish. Like, the way I like to phrase things is, you've decided you want to join Sooooooo. I'm going to show you how to do that most effectively on the channel. Not a case of you need to buy Sooooooo cards, you need to sign up, credit cards in, this is going to the moon, baby. Because that just sets you up for things go tits up for whatever reason in 6 months, a year, 4 years, and people go, John Nellis told me to put my savings in, and then
and you're trending on Twitter. I think one of the great things that I think Sooooooo has done, and I'm not sure if it was always like this on the football side of things and the baseball side of things, but the free to play, like if you are first getting started in this and you're like, oh, I don't know, let me like dabble, and that you can either just play the free game and maybe earn a couple of limited cards on your way, but just that you're not immediately being like, all right, here's my money, let's make this thing work, that you can kind of, get your feet wet before you dive in.
I'll ask you this because I genuinely am interested. Like, have you found the free to play mode engaging? Has your community or the people are people into it?
Yeah, I think there are, and I guess the chat can kind of talk to it as well, that there's a handful of people that they were like, this makes a ton of sense to me, let's go, let's get in. And then there are, I would say, quite a few people in the community that have already, invested a lot of like their fun money into the Top Shot side of things. Their bags are kind of packed over there, and they're like, all right, do I really need to unload another dump truck's worth of money into another sports NFT, while that one might not be going to the moon? Like, and because it's very new as well, it's like, all right, let me see what it is. And yeah, I'm seeing some of the chat, Matt saying like, I like the free to play, and Brent was saying the free to play made me get comfortable buying limited cards. And for me personally, that was the approach I took, where the first week of play, I was like, all right, let me just understand the game a little bit. But then before like game week 1 ended, I bought a ton of shit. So, so I do think it's like the gateway drug.
Yeah. No, I think like to answer your former question, the reason I asked is just because I don't know if it's because of when I came into Sooooooo over 2 years ago now, it wasn't that engaging a free to play product, or maybe it was just that because of the spaces I'd came from or where I was financially, playing for free wasn't really of interest to me. Because I like back then, I mean, you could pick up some of the best cards in the platform for I mean, ETH was around $200. I think it was. You could pick them up for next to nothing. Some of my best purchases and flips, even though there's a lot of luck involved. And you know, you're talking 25x, whatever, loads. Like, I mean, picking them up for pennies, really. So it wasn't as much of a barrier, maybe. It was a big factor as well. So it wasn't like, oh, I need to put hundreds in. I could just put in 100, 200, and then it became 1,000, and then it kind of compounded from there. But the free to play wasn't incredible. They've definitely done a lot of work on that with the academies. And then limiteds were a big thing, because limiteds added a lot more supply there for them to be able to give out a lot more rewards to the casual players. But I'm glad to hear the NBA one's been taken well. You know, it's nice that they're putting up there in the common champion 1,000 limited cards. I mean, some people are going to get absolute belters. I know it's only the top 3, but I think, without rambling too long, historically, the problem with the free-to-play was they had, for a long time, at the football side anyway, one common division called casual. And this was maybe up until a few months ago. And there were 3 rewards, and there were about 100,000 people entering, and that was it.
Yeah, that's tough.
And when I clocked that, someone alerted it to me when I was recording a podcast with them. I was just in sheer disbelief in the podcast. It's probably still there. I was like, are they having... Can I curse here, or is that not a thing?
Micah, please fucking do.
Are they having a fucking laugh? I was like, this is an absolute fucking travesty. This is fucking terrible. Do you know, this is like the worst. I was like, I give away more cards in my streams than Sooooooo give away. I swear to God, it was that bad. But they've since changed a lot of that with... you know, the different sort of academy games, and I think the kickoff is a great sort of way in. I don't know if it's in basketball yet, though.
No, but I think that brings up a great point too. There's a similar product who also helps sponsor the show. Shout out On the Moment, and they do an NFL product for football, and it's or American football, and it's called Rumble, and it's the same thing. Like, you get to use the NFL moments you own to put together a lineup and then compete against everybody. It's for free, and then they have prizes, but most of the first couple of weeks, there's like 9,000 entrants and 1,000 people, or I can't even remember what the total. No, it was less than that. It was like 300 people make the money. And that's like when you have this isn't a shot at On the Moment at all. It's just like what they had to work with. But when you have like 97% of your user base losing every single time, that's a little tough. Like, that's tough to, you know, you're just like shooting for miracles here, trying to get that in. So that is a great point. And it does seem like they made that adjustment on the NBA side of things. One of the things I wanted to ask too, because we get a lot of questions about this, like, all right, I'm getting in on year 1. And again, this is like the Top Shot brain, because every time more supply comes out, everyone's like, oh, we're dead now. But like, when people are buying some of these year 1 moments, they're like, well, yeah, but how is this going to maintain any sort of value when we get into year 2? Like, is this only good for right now for this season? And we've gotten some answers around that, but what's been like your experience with like that year to year type situation?
It's one of those, right, where there's so much to this question. So first off, what I'll say is the product's been out like what, less than a month, NBA?
Yeah.
In the common division, you've got 67,000 lineups enrolled, and there's still 9 hours to go. I don't know how many entered last week. That's in common champion. Common contenders getting nearly 60,000. There's almost 90,000 training lineups. And then competing in limited contender, you've about 5,000. I'm in champion about 4,000 so far, right?
Yeah. Every
single season, and this is just looking at those divisions, there's only going to be 1,000 LeBrons, 1,000 Steph Currys, 1,000 Ja Morants. There's 60,000 people already within 2 weeks who all want a Ja Morant, who all want Giannis. They all want those cards.
Right.
So in terms of the supply demand, let's even look at a 15-year career. The max you're going to get is 15,000. If the product doesn't grow at all, that means only 1 in 4 people can have them. But you have to imagine the product does grow. So I think that's the beautiful thing of Sooooooo from day one for me. And I know Top Shot people, you had your, I don't know a lot about Top Shot, but I know you had your like defined scarcities. No, well, there's only this, but there could have been unlimited moments of a player essentially. So maybe the supply, while this one is only 1 of 100, 1 of 1,000, 1 of whatever.
Yeah.
You could have 50 different things. It's almost like the junk wax era is what it felt like in sports car collectibles. But in Sooooooo, what I've liked is that like they don't stray from these. They might add another one like of 5,000, but that'll just be really like even cheaper again because of the supply demand. So I personally, and I get why some people might be skeptical, and maybe they're right, and I'm not claiming to be right at all, but for me, when I look at the numbers, it doesn't necessarily worry me and my risk tolerance, because I go and I look at even football, right? And
Yeah.
you guys are gonna have to get used to it on So Rare being called football. It's not soccer here, baby. There's no NFL here. But what was I gonna say? I was gonna look at the common division last week. Whatever. Over 100,000 lineups, I'm sure.
Yeah.
At present, they're still at limited. Like, they're still nowhere near even, like, if I go to So Rare data, which everyone needs to use if they're using So Rare, honestly.
Yeah, I'll drop a link to that in the chat.
There's still only 576 limiteds. That's Mbappe. Yeah. He's been a couple. There's a couple of seasons worth of mint in there. 171 rares, 19 super rares. Like, I don't know, over a 15-year career for Kylian Mbappe, he's going to have maximum at the minute, the way it stands, like maximum if they meant everything, like 14,000 cards. That's the most desirable player in the world and probably will be for the next 10 years. So in terms of like the supply and that, again, I said this was a bit of I could go on about this.
No, this is great.
Where a worry comes for me, or where, like, not necessarily a worry, but kind of a bit of skepticism comes on the NBA and MLB products in particular, because they don't have cash prizes or ETH thresholds.
That was going to be my next question.
They seem a little bit like you're buying cards to win cards, to win more cards, to sell cards, to win more cards. And if no money's coming into this market, who's going to buy these cards? So it's all about new users coming in, and that doesn't sound great.
Yeah.
Where I think So Rare will go, and I think where So Rare can set itself apart, and where I hope to see it go in the next 1, 2, 3 years. I think at the minute they have a big sort of logistical problem in terms of like manpower on the ground and employees to actually action these things. But with their licensing deals, they have shit tons of access, they have shit tons of memorabilia, and they have shit tons of genuinely priceless experiences. And if this can become a game where people almost look at it as like an expense, potentially, like you pay to go to the cinema, but with the upside of the jackpot where you're courtside at a Miami Heat game or whoever game, Chicago Bulls, I'm naming a couple of teams.
There we go, dude, you crushed it.
Grizzlies, yeah. You know, where you've got these like mad experiences where you're meeting your player, where you're off watching them training, where you're doing this, where you're doing that. Things that people genuinely are like, holy shit, I'll never be able to do that in my life unless I win it in So Rare.
Yeah.
I think those types of prizes could change that. And I also think like they could make a much more compelling platform that's a much more social. I talked to two of their head engineer and a senior engineer on my podcast that went out today, actually. Without self-promoting, if you're into So Rare now, I'd listen to that because it was very interesting. But they were talking about the social aspect of So Rare, because it's not quite there yet. You're kind of competing on your own against the leaderboard. And while it is playing against your peers, you're kind of just playing against the game, because you're not going to track the leaderboards and see where all your peers are.
Right.
But they're hoping to lean more into the social aspect and maybe capitalize on what like fantasy football or other fantasy sports.
Because I think something that we're seeing right now too, like there's a ton of dialogue like in our Discord around it, and people are sharing their lineups, but that work is being done by other sub communities, right? We're not seeing So Rare, at least on the NBA side of things, pump into the community. And maybe, they're 4 or 5 weeks into it, but that would definitely be something that I would lean into a little bit harder, like being able to create a private contest maybe just for your community. I think stuff like that would go a long way. Also too, I remember you were talking about like that whole in real life, like being able to go to courtside. I know I was able to, through the MLB product, be able to attend a Yankees Guardians baseball game through that experience. So I know that is something that they're leaning into, but I think you hit the nail on the head with the NBA product of being like, yes, you have won another card that you can then use or sell. And like, I think being able to put an ETH or cash type prize into the prize pool would go a long way, because that is the common question I get is like, wait, hold on. So I play the game.
What's the inherent value here?
Right.
But then the other comparison that people quickly go to there is sports cards. Like I have a couple of them behind me. It's like, why is that sports card? They're all worth shit because they're all like little cult players that I love. That one's with Shohei Ohtani, right? But it's like, it's not a very scarce card. Yeah. That card, I don't know, might be worth a couple $100. Yeah. Why? And it's kind of the same. And I think that the problem with So Rare is that they don't necessarily have that IP over generations to be like, this is a collectible.
Right.
But it is an officially licensed digital collectible, and the first arguably of its kind. And I know Top Shot's different. There's other collectibles in the basketball world, but in football, it's really, and you can argue other platforms, there's like Crypto Strikers and whatever else.
Yeah.
But they are some of the like first year one edition collectible NFTs. it's hard to know what those NFTs of the best players of every sport will be worth in 25 years.
Right.
Maybe the NFT thing's just a fad and it fades away. Some of the technology lingers around, but not here. No one gives a shit. But if you back the technology, if you back the idea of collectability, if you back all these things, maybe they are kind of just like sports car collectibles with the side element of a fun fantasy game. But it's about backing that long term, and that is pie in the sky shit because we'll be 60 by the time that comes to fruition.
Right.
So you can't really invest based off that, I suppose. But I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, even just like, because I agree, I have a tough time being like, all right, well, I've got this John Wall NFT firm so rare, and that is going to be a collectible 25 years from now. Like I have a hard time unless it's like one of, like you were talking about Mbappe or like the LeBron James over here. Those I feel like will always stand the test of time, but it's really hard to know, like, there's thousands out there. So most of these probably won't matter. But the fact that you're able to use this thing twice a week throughout the entire season to like build lineups and all this stuff, I think that is like the added value, especially like in the here and the now, that makes sense to a lot of people, especially if you've come from either the gambling world or the fantasy sports world. Like, to me, that's the thing that clicks and makes it the easier sell. And I think that's why you're seeing, like, you were like, how many thousands of people have been joining the NBA like right away,
Yeah. I'm just looking at some of the comments are funny. I don't know, is John Wall a player?
Yeah, John.
I was like, no one's going to care about my wall in 20 years. I was like, you back off my wall, Shiggins. Get out of here.
It's because I also used your name too. That's on me. That's on me.
Get out of here. My wall's great.
Yeah, he's like, I got a great wall. Look at the lights.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
No, he's a basketball player. That's like a good basketball player, but not a great basketball player. We got a dog sighting.
We got a good boy or girl. My dog, I muted myself there because my boy was going crazy at the postman.
Oh, yeah.
As he does.
No, he just looks out the window every time my wife leaves and then is like, wow, I'm stuck with this guy now. So
yeah, staring at his computer.
Yeah,
I get that all the time. The guilt.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, he could be playing with me, but instead he's talking to himself again.
Talking to some Irish guy about fucking digital collectibles.
Oh,
what world are we living in?
Yeah. How has your like collection evolved? Have you, like, when you first started, because you were saying you moved a lot of capital over early, did you just like dump as much in, get your collection, and now you've been playing ever since? Or are you still like pretty actively going after different pieces?
I'm incredibly lazy now. When I first came in, I was like, for the first maybe year and a half, I was trading like mad. I mean, mad moves, constantly hustling, trying to do this, trying to do that, doing it poorly. And accumulated in terms of the football world, like I don't know what whale is, I don't know what big is relative to Top Shot, but like I think I have a big enough gallery. I've a couple of uniques, 3 uniques, 45 super rares, and 87 rares, 137 limiteds in football. And the other thing to remember about football is that the scarcity is different than NBA. So like limiteds are of 1,000, rares are of 100. So it's almost like if you've got your NBA brain on, I've got like, well, the super rares are 10 times scarcer. The rares are like the super rares. So anyway, big enough gallery now. In recent times, I feel like over the last few months, something I do on my YouTube channel, because it is like predominantly football, but so rare is all the long form content on it. I give away all the limited cards I win. So I haven't really, I kind of just bought some of the best. I've got like the best under 23s in football. I've got like, I don't know, it's actually hard now with the points cap and NBA to really capitalize on it, because I think what sets you apart is the kind of the low cap players. But I have like Giannis, LeBron, Steph Curry thinking, oh, I'm going to go win everything. But nah. MLB, I bought the Otanis, the Acuna Juniors, the whoever else is thinking, yeah, we're going to win loads of stuff here. But I've been very static on them because of that, because I just kind of bought blue chip and just like try and win rewards for like my community. But then in terms of my gallery, in the rares and super rares, I have like a big churning machine now to an extent where I have a lot of the best players. There's some times where you need to make a call and move people on. I'm notoriously terrible at holding on to people too long, speculating on players, and then they don't play for a year. And I'm like, but they might play next year. And then I'm holding them forever, So like, it's kind of, I think as you get bigger, it becomes, there's so many more moving parts. I think with the NBA, right? Let's pretend now they will bring in more divisions and different ways to play, I'm sure. But right now, with your limited cards, there's really only 2 divisions you can enter.
The
like that's it.
And the contender,
if you have a few rare cards too, you can only enter one, and that'll change over time because the other ones will open up and blah blah blah. In football right now, like I put out something like 18 lineups this
Well,
weekend.
I was just going to bring that up because I think if you've only looked at the NBA product so far, I think click over to the football side of things because I think your brain will explode a little bit because there are so many more opportunities to submit lineups across all the different levels. And I can only imagine that as the product on the NBA side continues to grow, like you're saying, more of those tournaments will get unlocked.
Yeah, so like now it's starting to feel a bit more full-time jobby where I'm spending a couple of hours setting my lineups twice a week because you've got all these cards across all the scarcities, across all the different rule sets. Like, if we look at football, so for example, there's just like the limited rare, the super rare divisions. There's like hybrid divisions called pro. So you kind of have some rares, some super rares.
Yeah.
But then like on top of all that, not only is there like champion Europe, challenger Europe, which are like the best teams in Europe, the worst teams in Europe. And then you've got like Asia, you've got America, you've got All-Star, which is all players can be played. Then you've got underdog divisions, which is like you only need 4 players. You pick a common as like your goalkeeper or whatever, or any player. And they all have to have a certain average score over their last 15 games. So there's underdogs. Then there's specialists, which is kind of like the cap.
Yeah.
You have an NBA where you have to pick 2 players with averages under 40, 2 between 40 and 60, and 1 over 60. So whenever and then there's an underdog, which is a 45, and then there's a legends tournament. There's like so much going on there that I think like where we're kind of lucky in football compared to NBA is that because the cap isn't there, you can pick a team for the main divisions and just roll it all season. Because like the cap, their average doesn't matter. In the underdog and specialist divisions and stuff in football, it does. So you have to it takes a bit more maintenance.
Yeah.
But in NBA, what's going to be really annoying for people who want to be casual like me, but amazing for people who are actually like into their basketball, is the moving caps.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
That's
going to take a lot of like you have to look into it every week, which is why you should tune into this channel. But the plus side of having something like that is it does take away some of like, all right, if my pocket is the deepest, my lineups will always be at the top, right? There's this type of like, yes, it is helpful if you have all of the top tier players, but you also need to get some of these like lower owned or lower capped players who, probably cost like $8 or something like that. Like it's pretty cheap on there for some of those guys. So I like that it makes it a little bit more accessible, but you're absolutely right. Like you do have to tune in. And that's kind of why we started doing this like live before lock type show. It's because, especially with the basketball, like, I mean, although I'm sure you see this with football as well, where it's just like, oh, it's a rest day. We're getting the reserves some run. And so now you're like, well, what the fuck? Like, why I'm not using this guy anymore. But with the NBA, it happens all the time. It's like, well, they have 2 games this weekend, so we got to rest the guy 1 game. Do they do it in football? Is it the same setup where it's the best? Oh no, because like they're not playing multiple games in like a 3-day stretch. So forget it. I answered my own
sometimes you would get 2 games, and then I think that they used to be where the first game they feature in the score you get, but I think now they've changed that. I forget what they've changed.
Just
it
like
happens
the
very
best
rarely.
possible score between the 2 of them.
I don't know. I think it's actually the first game that the player steps foot in the pitch. It used to be that if your player's on the bench in the first game and plays the second, he counts as a DMP because he didn't play, but he was in the squad. But I think now they've changed it that it's if they step on the pitch. I could be wrong. It doesn't happen often in football because they normally get a bit more rest.
Right. One of the other, I won't take up too much more of your time, John, too, because I appreciate you coming here.
Happy here. We're having fun.
We're having a good time. I'm making fun of your wall. Like we're having a good time.
Yeah, God damn it.
Yeah. You know what? I wanted to do this too, and I'll announce this before I get you out of here. But I wanted to give away one of my limited cards that I purchased.
What's your gallery called?
Of my cards.
Your name on So Rare. Yeah.
Sorry, it is. Dude, that's a great question. I don't even fucking know what my name. Oh, it's just Mike Zakarian. So it's I'll put it.
Wow, how crazy!
Yeah, right. I went wild, man. I tried to get real creative with my stuff. It's all about the brand.
Yeah. I've got some lovely cards.
Yeah, we went shopping here. I'll actually share it over here. We went shopping the last couple of days here and tried to up with some of our rare stuff. So we picked up a Zion over here. which we were really excited about. But I wanted to, because our man Joel Embiid sits like quite a bit, I figured we'd give away our Montrezl Harrell limited over here. So if you are watching this right now, if you like the stream, you subscribe to Team Hole and you put hashtag so rare into the chat, we'll give this away. Wait, is this true? Someone sent him a John Wall card. Did that really happen? Or are you saying someone should do that? Because that would be really fun. And it would be way funnier if you sent it to John and not to me. Like, I mean, I'll take it, but the comedy is really there. But yeah, so we scooped up but I like really only also shout out Josh Primo, who's no longer in the NBA because he kept showing his penis to employees, which, you know, not the best. Not the best.
Did that
Josh.
happen?
Yeah. He just got removed from the National Basketball Association for doing it 9 times over the course of 2 years.
He's 19.
Yeah, he's 19.
Were they women or like his mates?
I think
not that it makes it much better,
no,
but like, you know, getting your
like,
dick out in the shower is kind of funny.
Friends.
Yeah.
No, it was like it was like the team physician that happened a handful of times.
Wow.
It was like a hotel employee at time, like just willy-nilly throwing it out there. I know. Anyways, that was my first buy, by the way. My first buy in my first auction, I believe, was Josh Primo. So there you go. But then also scooped some rares. But yeah, what I ended up doing was I like got a couple of limited so I could play in the contest. And then now as we're getting a little bit more involved, we're picking up some more rares as we go. So but yeah, that is my collection over here. And then
Draymond Green, I recognize that name.
Yeah, he doesn't show his penis to people like Josh Primo, but he does kick people in the penis. So there's a
theme of penises here.
Yeah, I'm a big dick guy over here.
Yeah. In football, we've got some cult heroes. We've got Sven Coombs. Combs. He's actually just scored 100 midweek. So yeah, his card's probably worth a few quid. But do you know what I'm really looking forward to in the NBA side? It's not something we've had in football, but I think they've kind of rumored now that it might become a thing. Yeah. It's these action shots we've been promised later in the season. I think they're going to be really fun for like collectability and just flexing and, I don't know, having a bit of fun.
Yeah, it's just a fun way to do something a little bit different. I love that. Hey, they've on the football side of things with the World Cup around the corner, they're running some World Cup specific tournaments as well, right?
Yeah, I'd say like everyone here who's not really into football might try and get into that. You may as well, you know, unless you just hate soccer. Because I mean, what I'm finding, well, okay, first off, we'll talk about the World Cup, then we'll talk about me and whatever I was going to go off on a self-indulgent ramble. The World Cup game, they haven't announced the details yet. It's the Global Cup. We imagine it's going to be international teams. Is all speculation. They haven't given anything away yet. And just a big kind of promo or giveaway or whatever it happens to be for the World Cup. They literally haven't given any more details. But the World Cup's huge. It's the biggest thing in football, and it's coming in 16 days. So you can only imagine that they'll lean into that. It's the first World Cup in so rare. Well, I think they were about from like 2017 or 2018 or something. But so there would have been a World Cup, but they were so small then that like this is really their first World Cup.
Yeah, like on the platform.
Yeah, like I mean, the last one they were, I mean, proper small. Like I joined in 2020. And like they were still small. 2019, they were tiny. 2018, they probably were like, I don't even know, less than 100 people playing maybe, or starting to try and find licenses.
Yeah.
So this is their first World Cup, so it's a big deal because they're a French company.
Yeah, I'm really excited too. And I think U.S. and England. I mean, not that I was calling you English. I know you're on the Irish side of things, but I believe U.S. and England.
Well done.
It would have been the end of the.
You don't want to make that mistake.
Yeah, but are in the same group, I believe. So this, I'm excited for. I think that's true.
Yep. Yep. It's funny because I'm so into it, and I'm making so much content around it, like short form stuff and all prepped and ready. But I still haven't really looked at it, like in terms of like in depth. I think I'm probably going to do some previews of the groups and things, and then maybe I'll look into it a bit more. But yeah, the US, you have a tough enough group there. Well, England are obviously very tough, but then Iran and Wales. So the USA could go through there.
Yeah. Wales is a little sneaky now after there was that viral, who's it? Michael, the actor, Sheehan? Is it Michael Sheehan? I can't remember his last name. There was this like he was on some show in Wales and it gave this like very emotional speech to the players. And I was like, I'm a Wales fan now. Let's do this. I'm a Wales fan.
Yeah,
Especially
it's nice because I mean, like Gareth Bale, for example, who people may have heard of, he played in
Mhm.
the MLS for a bit, and
Yeah,
obviously he went to Real Madrid in a huge fee. Like this is his first World Cup, and he's at like retirement age, and he's dragged Wales through qualifications and into different competitions over years. So it'll
yeah.
be like a nice kind of goodbye. They'll be very motivated. Like,
Yeah. I wanted to on your content side of things, I wanted to ask you about this too, and then we'll wrap. But so were you doing football content prior to So Rare, or was So Rare kind of your like intro into content? Like what's your content background been?
so I started out with like a Football Index, that platform that went tits up
Oh,
podcast,
okay.
and then through it decided, okay, I may as well try and make a few YouTube videos. They were
Hmm.
obviously like, I mean, no sort of setup like this, dodgy
Yeah.
little laptop camera, really like low quality.
Yeah.
And I edited them all myself and whatever else. And then just over time, got lucky with So Rare in terms of like made a bit of money, put out a couple of videos on YouTube that essentially I'm an affiliate of So Rare. So I got a load
Hmm.
of people sort of signed up through a couple of these videos that I put out, like beginners tutorials, things like that. I made a bit of money off it last year and just sort of redid the whole setup, like sort of designated this room for it, bought a big super
Yeah.
PC and the camera and lights and whatever else, and just went balls to the wall. And actually, it's funny you ask that now because about a week and a half ago, I'm an air traffic controller. I've
Oh,
been an air
nice.
traffic controller for like 8 years. I handed in my notice and I'm going full time into content
Oh, that's
in
great, man.
about
Congrats.
6 weeks. Thank you. So let's hope it works out. But yeah,
Yeah.
just kind of over time kept iterating and getting marginally better. I like to think in terms of the quality. I mean, whether people like me, that's another question. But the actual like the quality's got consistently better and lent a
Yeah.
bit more into short form recently as well. So it's just been my journey. So Rare was the first content that really got any sort of traction. I think So Rare is always is the main baby of the channel. And maybe in the last couple of months I've been doing the shorts and shit like
Yeah,
that. But
I highly recommend. Again, all of his links are in the show notes to his Twitter, his YouTube, and his TikTok. So definitely go check it out. I really enjoyed your man on the street stuff, asking people how much they think this
yeah,
NFT just sold for, and it was really funny to watch everyone's reaction as they found out how
they
much.
just yeah,
Yeah,
they're like, what the fuck is this?
yeah, yeah, like almost pissed off too. Like they're like,
Yeah,
oh my
keep the
god.
fucking receipt, man. Like that is,
Yeah, that was
they're
the
just
best
like,
one.
what? He's like, what is going on? Like, nah.
That was the Keith
Yeah,
receipt was one of the best ones.
yeah. I have to do
But yeah,
more of that. The thing is, like, getting my camera guy who does those things with me.
yeah,
Good friend of mine. He lives in London, so it's about trying to. That's I don't know, an hour flight for me. Just trying to logistically meet up and stuff is the
yeah.
hard part. But I love that stuff because you just meet some random fucks. You meet some
And
crazy bastards in the streets.
I always think that's the best stuff. It's just like very organic, authentic reactions to you in the world, right? People just like seeing that, and I always think that stuff hits really hard. Um,
Yeah.
I there was a question here, and then we'll get you out. If we don't ask your expertise on something, like what are we doing here? So Wet Like I'm Booked says, any suggestions for some low tier limited buys for World Cup? Know about 4 players.
Okay. So what I'll tell you is like I will probably do like previews of this on my channel.
Mm,
I haven't dug into it yet, but I think like the best advice I could give if you're looking for like cheap players to go after and really do well, if I
mm.
just look up the World Cup groups quick, like this is kind of probably the first stage of what me prepping for these videos will look like.
Yeah,
What I
yeah,
would probably do is, well, first off, we kind of need to wait and see what their plans are because maybe they're going to release cards, maybe not. Um, but what I'd probably do is find a team in the in one of the groups that has like a favorable enough group. So like I don't know. Well, England obviously you want to pick a dominant team, but like who has a really good group there? Argentina have a nice group. They've got
mhm.
Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. Poland have a decent team, but the problem is there you're going to have Lewandowski, who'll cost a fortune. What I
Right.
would do is pick a team like say Denmark, who yes they're going to play France in their group, but they're also going to play Australia and Tunisia, and in those
So
games they
true.
could legitimately win 3-0.
Yeah.
So you could pick up like a mini Denmark stack, probably a little cheaper because everyone's going to be looking at France, Brazil, Germany, and so on and so forth. So if you're
Mhm.
picking teams like that, even like say Serbia, yes, they're in Brazil's group, but they're going to have to play Switzerland and Cameroon. Uruguay are going to have to play Ghana and South Korea. So I would pick
Right.
like a team maybe projected to compete for second in the group, potentially third, and just buy a cheap stack. And then
Yeah,
you
because I
throw it
would have
in. And if they win 4-0, you're fucking home in
you're
a boat.
good. Yeah, because I was gonna say, I imagine everyone is already on and probably more expensive, the teams that are supposed to go through, like those number ones or the projected number 1 seeds from those groups, I would imagine are
Mm.
already Everybody knows that, right?
Yeah.
So finding those second squads is nice. I also too, well, I guess I just got sent a tweet. It looks like here, I'll actually share this. So Rare Support just had an announcement, which shouldn't affect too much of your work here, but
Oh, no.
starting next week, the manager sales
Holy
marketplace.
good shit, they've went and done it.
Yeah, but not for. We will continue to cover the fee for So Rare Football for the foreseeable future. So just hitting those Americans, baby. Get the money from the U.S. of A. But yes, we'll start seeing a 5% market fee.
What do we think about that?
Man, I don't. I'm just so used to getting hit with that from like the Top Shot days, where that's just like a part of it. So in my head, I'm like, well, I don't know. I guess that makes sense. I don't know.
I think like it's sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's one of those things that's been long rumored even for the football product. Oh, is that a coffee pack?
That is nice. And a cameo? No, you can tell this is not the first time this has happened because they were like, I know how to do it without being seen.
Thank you. There we go. Look at that.
That's incredible.
So it's incredible. What was I even saying? This has been long rumored to come to football. And it's one of those that I've kind of constantly been saying on my podcast because I'm kind of like, I don't want people throwing the toys out of the pram when it comes. But the question was always, what percentage would it be? Right. Would it be 2? Would it be 5? Would it be 3? I don't 5 about right. I don't know because we've never had fees.
Yeah.
Is it about right? Is it too much?
Yeah, I mean, that's 5 is what we see on the NBA Top Shot side of things. And I wonder if that is a league requirement too, like the deal that they've struck with like the Players Association or
why would you stick it in 2 weeks later though? Why wouldn't you just put it in from the get-go?
To trick us, to be like, hey, look at this, man, no fees. And they're like, well, just getting fees.
Yeah. Now you've got all the cards that you want to flip. Like, people might have bought cards to flip, and now there's an extra 5% tagged on. But I suppose they've probably given a bit of leeway, have they? Like a week or something?
Yeah, till Monday. So we got a couple of days. You get the weekend. One more.
Okay.
So flip.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought they might have given a little bit more notice and something like that. I think they probably want to get it in early. Because the thing is, whenever they do it in football, there's inevitably going to be some sort of backlash, even though it makes all the sense in the world and it's become forever. And it also makes the platform more sustainable. It's giving them a bit of cash, whatever else. But I think it does make sense, like, to have it bang in early in NBA and MLB, where like these players aren't really necessarily used to the platform and they haven't just got used to this over 2 years. So like hit them early with it so they don't backlash too.
Yeah, and maybe trying to get in their brain, maybe we're going to see them start to publicize this a little bit more, and they want to get that set in stone before, I don't know, maybe you start seeing this, whether it's, I'm scared to say like in arena or on TV or whatever, but maybe if they're starting to make a push on it, they want that to be set in stone beforehand. And it makes you wonder too. I wonder if I mean, I guess they just made that announcement about football, because I was like, maybe we see this like right after the World Cup, that they don't want to introduce it before the World Cup because that's going to be a big event for them, and that maybe they're like, let's get some new people in here and then bang, turn it on. But I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I think it was always common. I just am surprised that they've done it separate.
Yeah,
maybe if you go and read it afterwards, they'll explain why. I assumed it would just be like a platform wide thing, but it adds another revenue stream for So Rare, making it more sustainable for us all, which is good news, I think, overall. While we'll have to pay a little bit each, it's I get so much enjoyment out of the platform. I don't want it going anywhere. So
right. Yeah. Give them a little bit of money, and there we go. I like this comment. 5% if we get cash prizes is worth it. There we go.
That's fair, because you're going to be, well, I suppose you're already spending cash to get the cards for no cash prizes, but spending cash to trade, I don't know.
I love this too. I already thought there was a 5% marketplace fee, so nothing's changed.
Brent's having a ball. Yeah, nothing's changed for Brent. Yeah, fair play. I like the comment there from Shiggins that my wall provides beverages.
Yeah.
That's wall.
And to think that I was shitting on the wall earlier,
It's even got pumpkins.
Yeah. Hey, listen, John, man, I really appreciate you being down. You just got a DM from a stranger, and then you were like, yeah, let's do it. So I really appreciate you coming on and talking a little bit about it. Hopefully we can do something like this again in the future.
Absolutely. I had a great time.
Yeah, we got all of your links are in the show notes, so go check them out. Anything else specific you need to plug, get out into the world?
No, I think like obviously I'm on Twitter, on
Yeah.
YouTube. It's predominantly so rare stuff in both those places. My TikTok's a bit more football, so if you're into basketball, you won't be about that life. But
Yeah.
no, thanks a million. As I say, it's a DM from a random stranger. You never know what you're going to get. But I think I was put at ease whenever I saw the intro. I was like, okay, this guy's not going to take himself too seriously. We're
No,
okay.
no, God.
The only other thing I would say is that I mentioned, and again, this is pluggy. Now, this is pluggy material.
I'm here
But
for
so
it.
rare data is if you're into so rare, it is something that you will 100% need to use. I'm not even saying that
Mm.
for the fact that I'll get a pay packet if you use the code John Nellis when you sign up.
Here we
But
go.
it genuinely is. It's I've used it every day for about 2 years. They really don't have a competitor. And even if you don't sign up using my thing, or if you sign up just to the free thing, if you haven't heard of it, you really should go and use it because it's got everything you need basically.
Yeah, and
It's like the.
oh, sorry, go
Have
ahead.
you used it?
I've messed around with it a little bit, only because I think I'm gonna start dabbling into, because I do like football, but not well enough to speak to it. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been embarrassingly now. It wasn't embarrassing at the time, but I've been a Man City fan, which I now know is like sacrilege. Like, you're not allowed to like Man City, apparently.
Yeah.
But they sucked when I liked them. Okay, this was the Eden Dzeko days. Um,
Yeah, okay. I didn't
uh,
think they were that bad when Checo was there.
no, they weren't that bad, but they weren't that bad, but they weren't what they are now. Like, then they started really dumping money in, and now everyone's like, "Oh, you just like you like the favorites." But that wasn't the case
Yeah.
at the time. Okay.
You're an OG.
Yeah, I'm an OG. Yeah, I'm an OG from 100 years into the league. But yeah, I wanted to start dabbling around and just get a better feel for, so because I feel like if I can understand the football product and the baseball product, it'll give me a better understanding of where the basketball product's going. So I definitely have messed around with it. So I would check that out.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I think as the
okay.
oh no,
No,
sorry,
no.
small
No, I
delay.
was just
gonna
gonna say,
I think as the oh
like, you go, you go.
no, okay, I was just gonna say as the basketball product evolves, and there'll be more and more different things and more things to keep track of, and even just for tracking your gallery, tracking
Yeah.
your movements, tracking your winnings, tracking everything. It's like it I wouldn't play So Rare if So Rare data didn't exist,
Yeah.
because So Rare doesn't provide all the things I need to enjoy the game, even for following lineups, even
Right.
for. So like, yeah, even if like you're going to sign up, not pay a penny ever, go over and give it a crack, because I think you'll get 2 weeks free at the top tier.
Mhm.
And I think it's something like 95%, 92% of the football community, 92% of like card winners every week use So Rare data.
Yeah.
It's obscene. They're like hand in hand. It's like you use them together.
I mean, we've seen
Anyway,
that even in our like the platforms or Top Shot or whatever, like those third-party sites that provide easier ways to follow things along are so important, because
yeah.
you're right. Like, the main company usually doesn't provide that stuff. But all right, I've officially taken up too much time, John. I'm going to get you out of here.
No
I'm going
problem.
to stay on for a few more minutes so we can give that thing away. But again, go follow John
Cool.
Nellis, and man, appreciate the time.
No worries. Look, thanks for having me. If you ever need me again, give me a shout, and I might have you over to talk basketball at some stage,
Let's do
or
it.
just NFT
Or just
sports.
hang out.
Yeah. Yeah. See you later.
All
Thanks,
right,
Mike.
take care, man. Shout out,
Cheers.
John. That was great. Great guest. It was awesome to have someone come on and actually know what So Rare is and talk about it, instead of you guys talking to me like I'm some expert, All right, I'm going to say last call for this, okay? Last call. All you need to do in order to qualify for this bad boy, what did I say we were giving away? You're going to like the stream, subscribe, hashtag So Rare. Oh, and then it's Luke Cornet, baby. The Green Hornet is what we're giving away today. The green, is that right? Oh, no, I said Paul Reed. Or Montrezl Harrell. Somebody tell me what I remember. I don't even remember now. I'm at the point where I don't remember. So let me, oh yeah, there we go. John's getting in here for it. I can't remember, guys. Was it Montrezl Harrell? I was Harrell. All right, it's Montrezl Harrell. Shiggin says you are the expert, though. They brought you onto the Thread Guy space yesterday. I'm the basketball expert, baby. The basketball expert. And I will say, if you sat through this whole thing and you haven't signed up for So Rare yet, there's a link in the chat. Go ahead and sign up for that right now. By signing up, you obviously get the 20 free common cards, and you can start playing for free without spending $1 or an ETH. But you can also, if you use that link and you sign up, you buy 5 things off the marketplace, you get a 6th limited free. So go ahead and mess around with that. I'm also going to plug one more thing, actually. You can see the sick mustache that we're cooking with right now. My wife hates it. November's the only time I'm allowed to do it, but we're raising some funds for some men's mental health for Movember. We're doing it for the month of November. We're trying to raise around 2,000 United States dollars. But if you have a little extra something in there, go ahead and anything you can share, we appreciate it. I think we're up to like 250 or 300, something like that. But we're only a couple days in. And I'm going to run a giveaway too for anybody that participates with it, but I haven't figured out what the giveaway is going to be yet, you know? So, but look at this. Come on, baby. Come on. That's weird. That was weird that I did that, especially after saying I was a big dick guy earlier, but I am what I am. All right, here we go. Last call. Like the stream, subscribe, hashtag so rare. We have 68 entrants, one more away from nice. And then a reminder, we'll be back at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time with a drink in hand, doing some live before lock. We're going to use Momentum Labs. We're going to use some of their data, their projections to figure out what some last minute steals are. We're going to use the NBA injury news to figure out how to best make our lineups. And then we're going to submit our lineups. We're going to have a little drinky poo, and then we're going to get into the weekend. All right. We're going to. Oh, did I freeze? No. Okay, I'm back. I was nervous. I froze. We're still down to 68 entrants. No, we're up over 70 now. Oh, I see Joe. Joe, I still owe you an NBA Top Shot moment, Joe. I'll be at work. Should I start Maxey and hope he isn't out? Is Maxey questionable tonight, Andre? I didn't even see that. I know they're without James Harden for a month, so Maxey is going to be a good play. He is going to be a good play. I didn't know if he was questionable, though. I didn't see that. Can we talk about how dumb it is that a turnover is -2 and a triple-double is +1? I do think that is dumb. I totally agree. I think now I do have some feedback for them. I didn't realize that turnovers were worth -2. -2 is a lot considering a triple-double bonus is +1. Turnover should be -1. Turnover should be -1. Keep it consistent, or even -0.5. I'm a big 0.5 guy. All right. Let's get into this. Let's spin this wheel. Thanks again, everyone, for being here. If you win this thing, this will be my first giveaway. So I need you to tell me what your username is, and you can DM me on Twitter at Mike Zakarian, or you can DM me in the Discord if you're in that Discord. Here we go for Montrez Harrell, who actually might be a sneaky play if Embiid doesn't play tonight. Here we go. Winner, chicken dinner. It's going to Joseph W. Joseph W. Oh, my God, I wasn't sharing screen. What a rook. What a rookie. Joseph W., congrats on the W. Shoot me over your chauffeur name so I can get that over to you. Again, hey, listen, appreciate everyone being here today. Shout out our man John Nellis for coming on and hanging out and giving us his little So Rare breakdown and what his experience has been like. Go check his content out, especially if you're like me and are going to be diving into some World Cup So Rare and some gambling. So go check out some of his content. It's been a lot of fun and good stuff, guys. Good stuff. We're really enjoying it. I hope you guys have a great weekend if I don't see you this afternoon. Otherwise, we are out.
Well, the top shot